using the tutorial examples. This chapter tells you everything you need to know to install, build, and run the examples. The following topics are addressed here. Required software: starting and stopping the GlassFish server, starting the administration console, starting and stopping the Java DB server, building the examples tutorial example directory structure, getting the latest updates to the tutorial, debugging Java EA applications. Required software. The following software is required to run the examples: Java Platform, Standard Edition, Java EA6 Software Development Kit, Java EA6 Tutorial Component, NetBeans IDE, Apache Ant, Java Platform, Standard Edition. To build, deploy, and run the examples, you need a copy of the Java Platform, Standard Edition 6.0 Development Kit JDK 6. You can download the JDK 6 software from http Oracle.com. Tech Network. Java. Javabase. Downloads. Index. HTML. Download the current JDK update that does not include any other software, such as NetBeans IDE or the Java EA SDK. Java EA6 Software Development Kit. GlassFish Server Open Source Edition 3.1 is targeted as the build and runtime environment for the tutorial examples. To build, deploy, and run the examples, you need a copy of the GlassFish server and, optionally, NetBeans IDE. To obtain the GlassFish server, you must install the Java EA6 Software Development Kit SDK, which you can download from http Oracle.com. Tech Network. Java. Javabase. Downloads. Index. HTML. Make sure you download the Java EA6 SDK, not the Java EA6 Web Profile SDK. SDK Installation Tips. During the installation of the SDK, do the following. Configure the GlassFish server administration username as admin, and specify no password. This is the default setting. Accept the default port values for the admin port 4848 and the HTTP port 8080. Allow the installer to download and configure the update tool. If you access the internet through a firewall, provide the proxy host and port. This tutorial refers to as install parent, the directory where you install the GlassFish server. For example, the default installation directory on Microsoft Windows is C. GlassFish 3, so as install parent is C. GlassFish 3. The GlassFish server itself is installed in as install, the GlassFish directory under as install parent. So on Microsoft Windows, as install is C. GlassFish 3. GlassFish. After you install the GlassFish server, add the following directories to your path to avoid having to specify the full path when you use commands. As install parent. Bin as install. Bin. Java EA6 tutorial component. The tutorial example source is contained in the tutorial component. To obtain the tutorial component, use the update tool. To obtain the tutorial component using the update tool, start the update tool. From the command line, type the command updata tool. On a Windows system, from the Start menu, choose All Programs, then choose Java EA6 SDK, then choose Start Update Tool. Expand the GlassFish Server Open Source Edition node. Select the available add-ons node. From the list, select the Java EA6 tutorial checkbox. Click Install. Accept the license agreement. After installation, the Java EA6 tutorial appears in the list of installed components. The tool is installed in the as install. Docs. Java tutorial directory. This directory contains two subdirectories. Docs and examples. The examples directory contains subdirectories for each of the technologies discussed in the tutorial. Next steps. Updates to the Java EA6 tutorial are published periodically. For details on obtaining these updates, see Getting the latest updates to the tutorial. NetBeans IDE. The NetBeans Integrated Development Environment IDE is a free, open-source IDE for developing Java applications, including enterprise applications. NetBeans IDE supports the Java EA platform. You can build, package, deploy, and run the tutorial examples from within NetBeans IDE. To run the tutorial examples, you need the latest version of NetBeans IDE. You can download NetBeans IDE from http://netbeans.org. Downloads. Index. HTML. To install NetBeans IDE without GlassFish Server. When you install NetBeans IDE, do not install the version of GlassFish Server that comes with NetBeans IDE. To skip the installation of GlassFish Server, follow these steps. Click Customize on the first page of the NetBeans IDE installer wizard. In the Customize Installation dialog, deselect the checkbox for GlassFish Server and click OK. Continue with the installation of NetBeans IDE. Next steps. The first time you start NetBeans IDE, a dialog box asks you if you want to download and install the unit testing library. A few of the tutorial examples use this library, so you should install it. To add GlassFish Server as a server in NetBeans IDE. To run the tutorial examples in NetBeans IDE, you must add your GlassFish Server as a server in NetBeans IDE. Follow these instructions to add the GlassFish Server to NetBeans IDE. From the Tools menu, choose Servers. The Servers wizard opens. Click Add Server. Under Choose Server, select GlassFish Server 3 and click Next. Under Server Location, browse the location of your GlassFish Server installation and click Next. Under Domain Location, select Register Local Domain. Click Finish. Apache Ant. Ant is a Java technology-based build tool developed by the Apache Software Foundation. http://ant.apache.org. And is used to build, package, and deploy the tutorial examples. To run the tutorial examples, you need Ant 1.7.1 or higher. If you do not already have Ant, you can install it from the update tool that is part of the GlassFish Server. To obtain Apache Ant, start the update tool. From the command line, type the command updata tool. On a Windows system, from the Start menu, choose All Programs, then choose Java EE6 SDK, then choose Start Update Tool. Expand the GlassFish Server Open Source Edition node. Select the available add-ons node. From the list, select the Apache Ant Build Tool checkbox. Click Install. Accept the license agreement. After installation, Apache Ant appears in the list of installed components. The tool is installed in the as install parent Ant directory. Next steps. To use the Ant command, add as install parent Ant. Then to your path environment variable, starting and stopping the GlassFish Server. To start the GlassFish Server, open a terminal window or command prompt and execute the following. Asadmin start domain, verbose. A domain is a set of one or more GlassFish Server instances managed by one administration server. Associated with a domain are the following. The GlassFish Server's port number. The default is 8080. The administration server's port number. The default is 4848. An administration username and password. You specify these values when you install the GlassFish Server. The examples in this tutorial assume that you chose the default ports. With no arguments, the start domain command initiates the default domain, which is domain 1. The verbose flag causes all logging and debugging output to appear on the terminal window or command prompt. The output also goes into the server log, which is located in domain dir. Logs. Server. Log. Or, on Windows, from the Start menu, choose All Programs, then choose Java EE6 SDK, then choose Start Application Server. After the server has completed its startup sequence, you will see the following output. Domain 1 started. To stop the GlassFish Server, open a terminal window or command prompt and execute. Asadmin stop domain 1. Or, on Windows, from the Start menu, choose All Programs, then choose Java EE6 SDK, then choose Stop Application Server. When the server has stopped, you will see the following output. Domain 1 stopped. Starting the administration console. To administer the GlassFish Server and manage users, resources, and Java EE applications, use the administration console tool. The GlassFish Server must be running before you invoke the administration console. To start the administration console, open a browser at http localhost 4848. Or, on Windows, from the Start menu, choose All Programs, then choose Java EE6 SDK, then choose Administration Console. To start the Administration Console in NetBeans IDE, click the Services tab. Expand the Servers node. Right-click the GlassFish Server instance and select View Admin Console. Note, NetBeans IDE uses your default web browser to open the Administration Console. Starting and stopping the Java DB server. The GlassFish server includes the Java DB database server. To start the Java DB server, open a terminal window or command prompt and execute sysadmin start database. To stop the Java DB server, open a terminal window or command prompt and execute sysadmin stop database. For information about the Java DB included with the GlassFish server, see http Oracle.com. Tech Network. Java. JVADB. Overview. Index. HTML. To start the database server using NetBeans IDE, click the Services tab. Expand the Databases node. Right-click Java DB and choose Start Server. Next steps. To stop the database using NetBeans IDE, right-click Java DB and choose Stop Server. Building the examples. The tutorial examples are distributed with a configuration file for either NetBeans IDE or Ant. Directions for building the examples are provided in each chapter. Either NetBeans IDE or Ant may be used to build, package, deploy, and run the examples. Tutorial example directory structure. To facilitate iterative development and keep application source separate from compiled files, the tutorial examples use the Java Blueprints application directory structure. Each application module has the following structure: build, XML, and build file, src, Java source files for the module, src, conf, configuration files for the module, with the exception of web applications web pages, style sheets, tag files, and images web applications only. Webinf. Configuration files for web applications only. Project NetBeans project files. Examples that have multiple application modules packaged into an EAR file have submodule directories that use the following naming conventions. Example name app client. Application clients. Example name EJB. Enterprise bean jar files. Example name war. Web applications. The Ant build files build. XML distributed with the examples contain targets to create a build subdirectory and to copy and compile files into that directory. A dist subdirectory, which holds the packaged module file. And a client jar directory, which holds the retrieved application client jar. The directory tut install. Examples. BP project contains additional Ant targets called by the build. XML file targets. Some Ant targets for web examples will open the example URL in a browser if one is available. This happens automatically on Windows systems. If you are running on a Unix system, you may want to modify a line in the tut install. Examples: BP project, build, properties file. Remove the comment character from the line specifying the default browser property and specify the path to the command that invokes a browser. If you do not make the change, you can't open the URL in the browser yourself. Getting the latest updates to the tutorial. Check for any updates to the tutorial by using the Update Center included with the Java EE6 SDK. To update the tutorial through the Update Center, open the Services tab in NetBeans IDE and expand Servers. Right-click the GlassFish Server 3 instance and select View Update Center to display the Update tool. Select Available Updates in the tree to display a list of updated packages. Look for updates to the Java EE6 tutorial package. If there is an updated version of the tutorial, select Java EE6 tutorial and click Install. Debugging Java EE applications. This section explains how to determine what is causing an error in your application deployment or execution. Using the server log. One way to debug applications is to look at the server log in domain dir. Logs. Server. Log. The log contains output from the GlassFish server in your applications. You can log messages from any Java class in your application with system out. Print on in the Java logging APIs documented at http download oracle.com Javabase 6 docs tech notes guides logging index HTML and from web components with a servlet context log method. If you start the GlassFish server with a verbose flag, all logging and debugging output will appear on the terminal window or command prompt in the server log. If you start the GlassFish server in the background, debugging information is available only in the log. You can view the server log with a text editor or with the administration console log viewer. To use the log viewer, select the GlassFish server node. Click the View Log Files button. The log viewer opens and displays the last 40 entries. To display other entries, follow these steps. Click the Modify Search button. Specify any constraints on the entries you want to see. Click the Search button at the top of the log viewer, using a debugger. The GlassFish server supports the Java Platform Debugger Architecture JPDA. With JPDA, you can configure the GlassFish server to communicate debugging information using a socket. To debug an application using a debugger, enable debugging of the GlassFish server using the administration console. Expand the Configurations node, then expand the Server Config node. Select the JVM Settings node. The default debug options are set to XTABUGXRUNJDWP. Transport equal DT socket, server equal Y, suspend equal N, address equal 9009. As you can see, the default debugger socket port is 9009. You can change it to a port not in use by the GlassFish server or another service. Select the Debug Enable checkbox. Click the Save button. Stop the GlassFish server and then restart it.